Welcome to the Tales of Exandria podcast,
Hold on, do that again.
our Critical Role fan show.
Do that again.
I don't want to do it again.
Do it again.
Why?
Because I was like looking at you and I was about to say something and then you went.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, good start. I'm feeling good about that. Welcome to the Tales of Exandria podcast, a Critical Role fan show. I'm Aaron.
And I'm Jamie.
And we are two nerdy-ass fans of those nerdy-ass voice actors on Critical Role. We are going to talk about episode number 70 today. Causatum?
What?
Causatum? I don't know.
Okay.
That's what they named it. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Okay.
Where Jester convinces a god to hold Comic-Con inside of a volcano.
Obviously.
Dragons. Come on.
We have a couple announcements today for the first episode. Speaking of which, it is the first episode. I'm actually going to switch these screens. Hold on.
You're ruining the professionalism of our podcast.
They're fine. So it is, like I was just saying a second ago, our first episode. This is like I said earlier, the Tales of Exandria podcast. Exandria. Do you know what Exandria is, Jamie?
Of course I know what Exandria is.
So Exandria, for the uninitiated, is the world that Matt Mercer has created his show in. And we have created a fan website? Platform? Something. Fan something.
I mean, it's a website.
talesofexandria.com, where we have lots of fan stuff for Critical Role. We have cosplay, we have fan art, we have episode breakdowns. We're going to do original stories. We do. You can find important announcements from the cast, tweets from the cast, even Reddit posts we're going to start putting on there. Mm-hmm. Again, that's talesofexandria.com.
And this podcast.
And this podcast,
Of course.
all the episodes will be on there. This is a just aptly named The Tales of Exandria podcast to go along with the Tales of Exandria website. This is my dog, Talia, who's walking around in the back here. And we are hosting the podcast. Like I said, my name's Aaron. This is Jamie, my beautiful, beautiful wife. And we have... we're just really excited to do this. We both have backgrounds in media.
Yep.
On different sides of media. I've been a journalist for not a long time, 4-ish years, and Jamie has been in television and radio stuff. And we love Critical Role, we love the critters, and we really just wanted to do something as a part of this community instead of just like lurking all the time. Lurking's perfectly fine, mind you, if that's what you do. But we just figured we have this skill set. We should probably do something with it. Right. Well said, Jamie. So our announcements for today, the music that is playing in the background, this calm, surreal, funkadelic music, is by Sonic Vaughn on Twitter. If you know his stuff, you'll know him as Autumn Orange, which is how he goes on Spotify. I believe his music is also on iTunes. I'm not 100% sure. The albums that we are playing from today, with Mr. Vaughn / Autumn Orange's gracious permission, this music's like, I love it. I listen to it all the time, like at work and everything. And when he said that we could do it, I was like, super excited.
This song.
Yes.
Dicks and Donuts.
Dicks and Donuts. That is one song on this album. So the album that this song that is playing currently is on is called Wonderful Little Seed of Joy and Chaos. It is his lo-fi playlist that is inspired by Jester, Laura Bailey's character, using quotes from Jester and other characters involving Jester. Mm-hmm. And then you'll also hear some songs in here from Sad Wizard Vibes, which is the Caleb Widogast album.
My personal favorite.
Yes. And soon we're going to be getting a Ford one.
Yay.
Yes, so I'm really excited about that one. He's really great. I reached out to him, and he was like, heck yeah, do it, like right now. And so shout out to him. Go follow him on Twitter. That's Sonic Von, S-O-N. Let me make sure I'm spelling this right. V-A-U-G-H-N. Sonic Von, no space in the middle, one word. And then our last announcement for that. No, we have two announcements. Our second announcement. Third announcement?
Second.
Did Talia. Thank you for reminding me. We have to do our monthly giveaway. On this show, we are going to be doing a giveaway every single month. And for the month, the rest of July, which only has 14 days left in it, we are going to be giving away a beautiful set of dice for Dungeons & Dragons. Here it is. If you're watching it on YouTube, it is simply it is called the Burnished Bronze Blacksmith die set. This 7-piece Dungeons & Dragons metal dice set comes with a dice bag. For a chance to win this wonderful prize, go ahead and follow us on Twitter. It's right here on if you're watching on YouTube, you can see the beautiful picture, and you can see our Twitter handle, which is Exandrian Tales. That's EXANDRIANTALES. And if you are listening to this, not watching it in video format, you can just go ahead to the Twitter, and every single month the giveaway will be pinned to the top of the Twitter account. So you can just check out the pinned tweet to get details on the giveaway. All you have to do is follow us and retweet that pinned tweet. That's it. And then make sure your DMs are open, obviously, or it's going to be difficult for us to get a hold of you. My dog is going nuts over there. I'm back to the webcam. And then our last announcement for the day, before we get into talking about this wondrous episode, is our featured fan art. So we love fan art. I love fan art. Cosplay. We're just going to do fan art for now. But I love them both, and that's why we feature so many on the website. But on the podcast, we would also like to feature one each episode. And again, if you're listening to this and you're not watching it on YouTube, you can just go ahead and check it out on our Twitter, which is, again, Exandrian Tales. Here it is. Look at this lovely piece. Lovely, just depressing piece of Jester crying out for Yasha as Bo pulls her away after Yasha turned on them inside the crypt or something. I don't even know.
It was a crypt.
Crypt of the Laughing Hand. So yes, look at this.
Or like a tomb?
Everyone's very upset. It was kind of a tomb. It was where he was held.
Yeah, right.
But he was never dead.
But like, is it officially called like a tomb or like a crypt?
I don't know.
But that's roughly what it is, right?
Mr. Mercer says in the show what it is, and I forget off the top of my head. So we're just gonna go with We're just gonna go with room.
All right.
It was the room of the Laughing Hand.
That sounds great. Sounds
beautiful.
So is cool.
Our dogs are like getting in a trash bin or something. Hold on. I'm gonna go give a what for. Hey, that was you.
No, it's
it's the cat.
Which of the 5 pets is it?
The cat has moved. We're all set. And you got to see me in my lovely sweatpants. Yeah, so let's talk about the episode.
Yeah.
That's why we're all here. That's why these fine folks have gathered to listen to us.
As you gesture at your keyboard.
Yes, these fine keyboards and water bottles. Ooh, water bottle. Forgot I had that. So what did you think of the episode? You just watched it yesterday.
I did.
You watched the rerun.
Yes.
Tell me, break it down for me.
Break it down.
Give me your impressione.
Well, what do you want, a breakdown or an impression? 2 different things.
A breakdown of your impression.
I mean, it was, an emotionally charged episode, as we knew it was going to be after everything that happened with Yasha. So obviously there was a lot of, catching up on those feelings. They hadn't really had a second to like sit and think about what they felt. They were just trying to get away from Yasha and the Laughing Hand at that point. So
this is really embarrassing, but I just realized I wasn't playing the music. So it is playing now. You can listen to this fantastic lo-fi jam by Autumn Orange. Okay, continue.
Okay. Yeah, so at this point, when they're not, actively trying to escape or really do anything, they're kind of just sitting there and able to feel the wash of emotions on top of them. And obviously, Jester appears to be the most affected by what happened. And of course, then they have to contact the Bright Queen, but they're not really sure. They're not really sure what to do about Yasha, if something happened to her, if she was always this way, or, if they can trust the Bright Queen. And, it's a tough situation that they've been put in.
Oh, nice. We get a doggy cam if he goes in his kennel.
Doggy cam.
He's trying to coax the other dog in. Yeah. Oh, they're both in. Both dogs are in the kennel, folks. But yeah, it was a really emotional episode. I like what you said about Jester being the most affected, but I would argue, counterpoint, with I don't think she was the most affected. I think she was the most, immediately forgiving, which is so in Jester's character. She's, the only one of the group so far that's I'm sure Yasha's just mind controlled or something.
Yeah.
And everyone else is she fucking betrayed us.
Well, I mean, she was the most outwardly upset, not to say that she was the most.
Well,
it's possible that everyone else was, just as upset, if not more. It's just Jester, wears that on her sleeve a little bit more than everybody else does.
Sure, that makes sense. No, they're going crazy down here. They picked a great time to start playing right when we started recording.
Our professional studio.
But yes, the studio is incredibly professional and not simply in a corner of the apartment.
Right.
But I think that Jester's just a really emotional character, and always tries to see the better in people, whether or not that ends up working out or not.
Yeah.
Actually, I would say usually it does.
It ends up working out.
I can't think of any time in the second campaign. Well, she wasn't in the first campaign. I can't think of any time in the campaign where Jester tries to see the better in someone, and it doesn't work out. Usually, if they end up betraying the group or are bad, she'll get that vibe right away. But there haven't been many big betrayals yet. I feel like that might come later on.
Well, what are the chances of Yasha just having betrayed them?
I mean, that's true. But if that is true, how would I don't know. We'll see. We don't know. But let's keep talking about the beginning of the episode because you mentioned the Bright Queen. They have to talk to the Bright Queen about the Laughing Hand getting out.
Yeah.
And the discussion from the group was really interesting to me at the start, because you got to see what each of these characters, well, I guess what each of the players want their characters to feel, felt in this moment of fear. They don't know what the Laughing Hand is. They don't know if they're going to get in a huge heap of trouble, and you see you can tell the mindsets that the players have created for their characters because of the immediate route that all of them take. You have Travis's as the most jarring, in Ford just saying she's for sure throwing us in prison. Immediately,
right.
That was his gut
and it
reaction.
also speaks to their trust of the Bright Queen in general.
Yeah.
Because it's very clear that Bo and Ford specifically do not trust the Bright Queen.
Right.
So their first thought is, we don't tell her. We try to get everybody out to save their lives because they feel that she won't put the civilian casualties above anything else. And they don't trust her to make that decision. They don't really trust her, to not, like you said, throw them directly into jail.
Yes.
Even though I'm not sure why releasing the Laughing Hand would be cause to throw them in jail, but it's a very clear display of distrust for her.
I think a lot of it is rooted in that, and I think honestly a lot of the mistrust for the Bright Queen is rooted in themselves not trusting or just assuming that she won't trust them.
Yeah.
Because there's still so much tension. And ever since they've got here, everything they've done for the Bright Queen has had like an asterisk on it. Where like they are like, all right, what can we get out of this? And like, what's our long game here? But it doesn't seem like they ever realized or thought about the Bright Queen might just think they're just doing stuff nice for her.
Right.
And obviously she's this like ancient like entity who could be pulling the wool over our eyes. But she at least seems like that at least might be a possibility. That she genuinely is just like thankful for them doing nice stuff for her.
I mean, it's totally possible that the Bright Queen is sketchier than she appears.
Oh, yeah.
But at this point, they have no real reason to distrust her other than distrust for the sake of distrust. Oh my god.
But yes, I think that, and that I think that is kind of like a theme of the campaign. Like, there's just everyone mistrusts everyone,
but,
including in the party.
Well, yeah,
like,
but they've basically aligned with her and allied with her against the Empire, and they've done nothing but good things for her, and she hasn't given them any reason not to trust them. But here they are thinking that releasing the Laughing Hand, even though they didn't do it intentionally, is a reason for her to throw them in jail.
They didn't even do it.
That's true.
They just showed up and the guy did it.
Right. But okay, fine.
Which just reinforces the point.
Exactly, which makes less sense because it's not like they did it then. So, even less reason to think that they'd be thrown in jail.
I was of the exact same mindset when cuz in 69 in episode 69, when they got out of the cave and everything's awful, and it's all still fresh, immediately, Ford and I think Bo and maybe Caleb all jumped into the Bright Queen's gonna flay us alive train. But even back then, I was like, I don't know why she would, because how. They were I loved how Taliesin handled the situation as Caduceus, because I was like, when it all originally happened, and I remember talking to you and talking to our friend about it, when it all happened, and then Taliesin basically said the same thing, where it's like, let's put this into perspective here. We didn't release this thing, first of all, and second of all, what was our mission? Our mission was literally just to stop the secret meeting.
Yeah, which they did.
And they tracked the one guy that got away to the ends of the earth just to show up and him to be some super demon.
Well, and they killed Oban.
Releasing a super demon.
So Oban's the one that
killed Oban.
Well,
yeah.
At the time of speaking to the Bright Queen, the person that brought back the Laughing Hand was Oban anyway, and then they killed Oban.
Yeah, they did it.
So
they got him.
Not
only was he a super demon that no one expected, but they got him.
Right, and so despite not being prepared for him to release the Laughing Hand, they were there managed to kill him.
They were there to do their one job. That was so many steps below stopping a demigod.
Right.
They got into something because they were doing one mission. They just got into something way over their head.
Right.
That is not their fault. And I don't know how it.
And they still managed to come out of it decent, even if they hadn't killed the Laughing Hand or Oban.
Our dog was just chewing tape. Don't mind her.
No, I mean, so, there's every chance that they couldn't have killed Oban, and in that case, he would have, raised the Laughing Hand anyway. So it's not like they could have exactly prevented it other than killing him sooner. And as we found out through Jester, even killing Oban wasn't enough to stop him. So.
Yes. And yeah, I think that, Caduceus putting everything into perspective was great. Also, holy crap, that lore dump. The Caduceus lore dump.
Yeah.
We got so much Mr. Clay lore in like a short window.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that, but it was super cool.
Yeah.
Oh my god, that was like the storytelling and like the epicness of that history that he told was like Greek mythology level of like crazy, like this doesn't make any normal sense, but like it might.
Yeah.
It was great. I thought it was super cool. I think assuming that the Forge will put the broken sword together is a stretch, and B, assuming again that sword will help kill the thing is another stretch. But still, I really wanna learn more about that. I really want them to get to that place.
Yeah,
for sure.
But like, it's just to the point where it's like there wasn't much they could do to stop the Laughing Hand from being
right.
brought out. They managed to kill Oban. They did what they were asked to do. I don't know, maybe it comes down to phrasing. Maybe it comes down to calling the Bright Queen and saying, hey, we did this, this, and this, but this happened. Or coming out with the Laughing Hands out, like, oops. Ugh, sorry.
And that's what Caduceus has said so many times in the campaign already. He always just goes, what if we just told the truth?
Yeah.
Like it's one of those situations again where it's like, yeah, why do we have to come up with a scheme, and like why do we what we did wasn't bad. Like just say what you're.
The honest truth of this situation is enough for, I would think, the Bright Queen to be pleased with them. I don't know if I would say, well, pleased with them, not pleased at the situation, but the situation was not caused by them. Mm-hmm. So it's hard to blame them.
Yes, absolutely. And then all of this super emotional stuff aside, with everyone having panic attacks and Caduceus dropping his family history and all of this really important stuff, let's jump into the real most important part of the beginning of this episode. Jester trying to convince the guy that she needs to operate the siege machine.
Oh my god. Nancy McFancy Pants.
Nancy McFancy Pants.
And, okay, it's a family name.
Absolutely.
And then I died. She gets back to them and she's like, oh, the McFancy Pants part was weird. I thought the name Nancy was what was throwing them off. She's just like, yeah, I'm supposed to operate it. And they're like, I don't know.
But I can't believe she even got to that point, though. Didn't she roll like a nat 20?
She rolled a nat 20 on her first deception check, which was proof that, or to lie and say that she was part, What are you doing? Ejected.
This time, in the adventures of our pets, the cat that was causing trouble earlier was stuck inside the container that the water bottles came in.
Yeah.
And the dog was trying to get her out.
Joke's on the listeners. This is not a Critical Role podcast.
No.
This is a podcast about our pets. While we try to talk about Critical Role.
One of these days we'll get a sentence in, won't we, Talia? Yeah, she says yes.
But no, she rolled a nat 20 on deception, to basically say, hey, I'm a part of your, I'm a part of your group. Like, she looks so stupid.
Whoa, Jester looks stupid. I'm telling Laura Bailey.
Yeah. Okay, leave the pets alone.
She was talking about the dog, Laura Bailey, not you.
Yes.
But yes, that was a really, really jarringly funny part for such a heavy intro into an episode.
Came kind of out of nowhere.
It was
and then she's like, "Yeah, I'm supposed to operate this thing," and they're like, "No." And that's what she rolled. What did she roll? A 7 on deception for that? Like a total of 7 or something.
Something
like that.
really low.
And they were like,
And it was extra out of place, this whole scene, because in perfect Jester fashion, because not only was the beginning super emotional and heavy, but it was also they were in this part where they had decided they were gonna go to the Bright Queen.
Yeah.
And it was just like this tense, like, waiting period of, like, are they going to be in trouble?
Yeah, because
what's going to happen?
They had to wait 24 hours.
And then Jester pulls this out. It was great.
Yeah, and then of course she tells us afterwards that she was going to go with the name Drowie.
Which is definitely not racist.
Nick Fancy Pants, which personally I thought would have been better.
Than Nancy?
It wouldn't have thrown them off at all. Would have been wonderful.
Would have blended in perfectly.
They'd have let her operate it if her name was Drowie. I don't know.
It's all about blending in. But
get
then
a clipboard and a hard hat, and you're
easy.
You can get
clipboard,
into
hard hat.
Area 51.
You're in the area, yeah.
To storm.
Really?
To the aliens.
I heard all you needed to do was Naruto run.
Right, of course. How could I forget? Well, they can't stop all of us, so
that's true.
We'll see you there.
After this beginning part, the crew headed towards. They teleported back. They used for the first time Caleb's teleportation spell.
A very cool spell.
He's been talking about it for like at least over 10 episodes. Since they first discovered the teleportation circle. It's been far over 10 episodes. The teleportation circle in the Mage Tower in Nicodranus after they got back from the pirate campaign, pirate arc, which is forever
a while ago, yeah.
It was there where they were like, can you use this spell? And he was like, I just need to like study a little bit and I'm good. And then like 20 episodes later, finally used it.
A stupid useful spell. Like that's an
yeah, I mean, who doesn't want to jump across the world
exactly
a bunch of times? But you know what this means? This campaign just got way harder for Matt to DM because they can be anywhere.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, not anywhere, but at least 4 cities in different countries. So they teleport back. They teleport back to... it's not Jorhas, it's Rosanna is the correct name. What's the the bastardized version of the city name? Do you remember?
No.
Why can't I remember? I'm blanking so hard. Rosanna.
In the highest. Sorry. Hosanna.
Your Christian upbringing is breaking through. So they go back to Rosanna, and they teleport into the castle. I can't remember the name of the castle. Oh, I'm real bad with names tonight. They teleport into the castle. They wait for a little while, then they go meet the queen, and she's like, "It went so differently than I expected." Because we were like, are they going to be in trouble? And like, if they're not going to be in trouble, like, what's going to happen? They come in and she was like, oh my god, you guys. You did such a good job.
You guys.
Good job, everybody.
Okay, she was a little bit more, like, ecstatic about their work than I thought she was going to be. But I really didn't think she was going to be mad.
I didn't think she'd be mad. But I didn't think she'd call the whole thing a success.
That's true.
And not only did she call it a success, she was like bringing it in, like
yeah, great job,
making them feel like really good about it.
Let's throw a parade.
She gave him gold, if I remember correctly. I think I might be remembering incorrectly actually, but anyway, she was really happy, and some interesting things came from the conversation with the queen. They talked a little about the laughing hand. She wasn't entirely pleased about that happening.
Well,
but the information that they got from sacking the meeting and from right before the meeting ended up helping them win this huge battle, saved a bunch of lives. They killed some assassins, and they captured one. And as soon as she said that they captured a scourger, everybody watching the show in the chat, I was watching it live with our friend Brad. We were like, the light bulbs went off. We're like, oh my god. Because Caleb, in his backstory, his history, was training to be a scourger. Right. And we know all about that because he was the first person in the group, really, to vomit all of his backstory on everybody. And when I say everybody, I mean 2 people, but regardless. over the details we've learned over the course of the campaign, we learned he's a Scourger, or was a Scourger, was going to be a Scourger. And more importantly, we learned that his partners, the two people that he was brought up with, that he was really close with, including one Astrid, who he was in love with, we assume did go on to become Scourgers.
Right.
So when the Queen announced that they had a female Scourger in captivity, everyone was like, "Oh, Mercer. You did it, Mercer. You brought Astrid here, didn't you?
Joke's on you.
We're gonna get a big confrontation."
It's not Astrid.
So it wasn't Astrid, but it immediately, like, everyone just, like, tightened up.
Right.
You could see Liam O'Brien's an amazing actor.
Yeah.
But you could see him just tighten up, and, like, everyone, it just got so much more tense. The party, I don't think, picked up on it for, like, a little bit, but they did, like, after a minute.
Yeah. Well, an important thing to point out in that situation is obviously, so Caleb goes down to talk to the Scourger that they have captured, and he's not sure if it's Astrid. He can't really see her face.
Yeah.
But he does say Astrid. Like, he calls her Astrid.
Yes.
And, like, she seems to know the name.
Well, because we assume Astrid is a Scourger. So regardless of if this is Astrid, they'll probably know who Astrid is.
Right. Well, it was a pretty, I don't know, large reaction for somebody who was not Astrid when the name was brought up.
Well, I will say, and I think at least from my understanding, I think the reasoning behind that is that this is supposed to be like a secret order of assassins.
Oh, so nobody should know.
Yeah.
Astrid
So
is
for
a
you to
Scourger.
pull out a real name of one of the agents is like a big deal,
Gotcha.
even if
Okay.
you
Yeah,
know.
that would make sense. Even yeah.
I think that's the case because how they phrased the Scourgers when they first used the term in the show was, I believe, Bo recalled that they were supposed to be like a scary story,
Sure.
and that they weren't like a real thing. But Caleb knew that they were him. They were what he was gonna be.
Right.
So, like, the fact that it's not public knowledge, I feel like, means it's secret. I might be reading too much into it.
No, I would say you're probably accurate. Well,
Yeah.
it's definitely, there was definitely a recognition from the Scourger when he said Astrid.
I will say, I'm... As much as I would have loved the confrontation if it were Astrid, and, like, what would have happened to the campaign at that point? Caleb would have tried to break her out. Like, or might have tried to break her out. It might have ruined their standing with the dynasty.
Yeah.
But they can't go back to the Empire because they're probably wanted there.
Right.
Like, what the hell would have happened at that
Right,
point?
but Astrid, I don't know, would even want an association with Caleb at this point.
That's absolutely true, but I feel like he might still try to break her out.
I don't know.
Maybe. Well, it doesn't matter because it wasn't Astrid.
Right.
But it didn't turn out to be Astrid. It turned out to just be a Scourger.
Yeah.
That Caleb didn't recognize. But it was like this, oh my god, Matt was playing it up. He's like, you just can't see her face.
Yeah,
They tried. He put Frumpkin in there. He put light balls in there.
Yeah.
It's just can't got the hair. You
She had her hair in front
can't
of her
see the face. Can't see the face. He just kept saying that over and over again. That he tried for so long to see if it was Astrid before Matt was trying to coax it out of him. He was trying to see if it was Astrid, at least from what I could tell, before revealing himself. And Matt was like, nope.
Yeah, right.
He's like, say your name, say your name, say your name. And then, so not only did he say Astrid, revealing that he at least had a connection to the Scourgers, to the Scourger, he then brought out his full name, his real name, Bren something. Bren, oh god, I'm a horrible fan. I can't remember the name, but Bren, he says his name, his real name, the not Caleb name. And it was this big moment because the Scourger, this was right before we figured out that it wasn't Astrid, recognized him, his name, which is bad.
Very bad.
Because it means that the rest of the Scourgers outside of his immediate circle when he left now know about him, which might mean that he is this fugitive that he's been assuming he is the whole time.
Right. Well, I would assume if they figured out who he was that...
But, like, I feel like, in my mind, it wouldn't be that much worse than just being a deserter. Like, that's in the back of my head as he's been... I don't know. Like, a part of me this whole time...
Well, it depends on what you're deserting from, and it sounds like...
That's, I guess it's a secret order.
Yeah, that
you're
would
right.
be You know,
You're right.
you leave the wall in Game of Thrones and you get your head chopped off. I'm pretty sure that
That's true. That's true. But like, well, even in like, I don't know, medieval times, but in a lot of fantasy universes, the penalty for desertion is execution.
Death, yeah.
But even those people that desert and then if they get caught or killed, they're not usually like, there isn't like a massive like government-wide manhunt for them. And that is how he's been talking about him. Like, everyone's looking for me. If they find me, I'm dead. You're dead. They're dead. Everyone around me's dead.
He was like trained, right?
Yeah, and I get that it's a secret order and that probably amplifies it, but in the back of my head, this whole time I've been like, it can't be that bad. And then I guess it's dumb of me to have thought that. You obviously didn't.
No, to me,
you believed it. That it was awful.
It's a big deal. I would say it's a big deal.
But to me,
for him to be a deserter of that caliber.
To me, what her recognizing his name meant was the validation of that this is a big deal,
right.
And they are looking for him, and and the fact that it's not Astrid, and she now assumes that he's Bren, and that he's still connected maybe to Astrid. It's a good thing she's about to die.
Yeah.
Because if she wasn't, that would be a whole lot of problems for Caleb Widowgast.
Well, hopefully she's about to die.
Hopefully she's about to die.
Ooh, that's a rough
If she
thing.
doesn't,
that's
that
a rough
would be
thing
bad.
to say. Yeah, hopefully she's gonna die. Fuck
It's
her.
a make-believe universe. Like,
whatever.
We care about these make-believe characters made up in the heads of these
Only some
actors.
of them, though.
Only some of them?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care about her. She can die. Save Caleb. Hashtag,
Save Caleb.
Hashtag
Save
justice for Caleb.
But yeah, so it was a big deal. And the whole first half of this episode was just so tense. And this was, to me, the climax of the episode. It was like this whole, like, they spent like probably 10 minutes down there trying to figure out who this person was before he said the words, he said his name, and then when he said it, it was like, what's gonna happen? Yeah, it was like this, it was really tense, and I think it was definitely the climax of the episode. But what happened next was probably my favorite part of the episode. And I wrote about this on talesofexandria.com. It was what happened. Good. I'm glad that you read it.
Yeah.
What happened next was Caleb left. He's like, I gotta go on a walk. I gotta blow some steam in different words, but that's basically what he said. He didn't snap at anybody. He wasn't like not talking. He was just like, I just gotta take a walk. The group's like, cool. We'll go back to the house. We'll meet you there. So they go back to the house. He shows up a little while later after trying to talk to Essek, which doesn't go super well. And he comes back and he's like, here's some whiskey. We're about to get into some deep shit. Let's all have a shot. It went horrible because everyone was like, are you day drinking? And then the guy, he's like, the guys. And then they're like, and then Knott's here. And then Knott's husband's like, I brought tea. And it was just like this whole, like, it got bumblefucked, but it was still...
I was finding it hilarious when Knott was like, is Caleb about to kill us?
Yeah. Because he was, like, being so weirdly friendly.
Yeah.
Caleb Widowgast, in the entirety of the campaign, has never handled a personal, like, big, heavy moment like that. A confrontation with his past. A very direct confrontation with his past. And walked away, like, normal.
Maybe.
Like, he walked away and he's like, guys, we're in some deep shit. Like, I just want to sit and have a drink with my friends. And that was such a big moment to me.
Maybe he was relieved.
That it wasn't Astrid. I'm sure he was.
And that made it easier to swallow, so that he was in a little bit peppier of a mood. Because I'm sure that a confrontation with Astrid is not something he's looking forward to.
Oh, yeah. And he hasn't mentioned the other person yet either, but I'm sure that'll go horribly as well.
Right, so yeah, I mean, my guess is he doesn't really want to confront all of that, but if the situation were to arise, he would.
Yeah.
So I think he's kind of relieved that not only was she not caught, because if he still has any feelings for her, he wouldn't want her to die, but also that he didn't have to have that confrontation just yet.
Absolutely, and but still, like, I feel like at any other point in the campaign before this, if this would have happened, he would have went immediately catatonic, and he would have went, we're all gonna die, they're onto me, we're all gonna die, they're onto me. But instead he was like, some fire water, let's all take a shot. And it was just such a human moment and Caleb usually doesn't act like a normal human.
Yeah.
And it was just such a, God, they're so good. They're so good.
They're very good.
Liam is great. They're all great, but Liam in both campaigns with Vax and now with Caleb, he's had these like very distinct moments of change throughout the character's experiences where he's like, you can see the character growing.
Right.
And I love those moments because they're just so like warm, fuzzy, and this was one of them, and I liked it a lot.
Yeah.
That was good. I liked it.
Yeah, it was a good moment.
So the last thing I think we should talk about, because there wasn't a lot more that happened in the episode until the very end.
Yeah.
They talked about the shrines that that Caduceus put in the tree at the top a little bit. They talked about future plans. Nothing too heavy. They talked about going to the kiln.
Mm-hmm.
But the last big thing that happened was at the very end when Bo finally reached out to Dyren using Jester's sending spell.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have been waiting / it's a Talks Machina thing. You don't watch the talk show, but
I know it is. It's a dab, dude. I know that they do that.
Yeah, so what was I saying before Right. We have been waiting / dreading for this to happen.
Yeah.
Because we don't know how much Dyren knows about why they're doing what they're doing. We don't know if she knows. I think we've assumed that she knew that they gave the dodecahedron back, and I think by whatever means, like there's spies in the throne room or something. And I think that the question in everyone's head, including Bo, has been, is she going to think that Bo is playing the long game, or does she think that Bo's a traitor?
Well,
and it's one of those two.
At this point, Bo's kind of a traitor.
We don't know, honestly. And Marisha has talked about this on Talks.
Yeah.
About how she's going through like this major conflict in her head, because Bo is like doesn't want to be a traitor and wants to play the long game, but she doesn't know even if that's the right thing to do, and she doesn't know at what point has she gone too far across the line. Right. So she's very messed up right now. She's not in a great spot. Yeah, so we've been assuming that it's going to be either Dyren's going to try to kill Bo or Dyren's going to try to help Bo. At the very end, when Dyren shows up by flipping up onto the balcony and having the little cute-ass dialogue with Jester and then going in the house, when she confronts Bo, it sounds like she has no idea. Because she's like, oh my god, you guys are finally here. I've been waiting here for so long for you. It's gotten really tense. We assume it got tense because they're hunting Scourgers.
Right.
So things are a little tight security-wise. Yeah, it sounds like she had no idea. And she might be lying. After all, she's an expositor.
Yeah, I mean...
which is basically a spy mixed with Batman.
Yeah. Right. I mean, there's a chance that she's lying, and there's also a chance that she doesn't know.
Yeah, and to me, like, that was the last thing I expected. I didn't... Was for her to just seriously not know.
Yeah. Well,
I guess everyone's been assuming the worst, which I guess people tend to do. But, like...
Well, she's a spy / Batman. I mean, it's a good chance that she would know.
My assumption was that... And I based this off of what Caleb said when the dodecahedron was initially handed over. He was like, there are probably people from our empire in this room, and I'm sure you have people from the dynasty in the empire's throne room.
Right.
Based on that, I was like, there's probably spies in here. Right. There's probably spies everywhere. So I assumed like there was a spy that probably reports back to the Empire, and then Dyren got reported it to her through a message. And so I assumed one way or the other she would have a semblance of a beat on what was happening.
Right. I guess I assumed that she would too.
But it seems like, well, at least first impression, she doesn't know.
Right.
And if she doesn't know, maybe the Empire doesn't know.
Right.
Maybe they can just walk home.
Yeah, they have no idea what's happening in the Empire.
We have no idea. We have no idea.
And that's coming back to
there's so much waiting for them back there.
Them assuming the worst.
Yeah.
And that the Empire is ready to basically kill them on sight because they've aligned themselves with the dynasty, but they don't know any of it.
And oh my god, there's so much. I know that what if they go back and everything's fine, there aren't any wanted posters anywhere, and that would be honestly the last thing I expected. And there's so much waiting for them there. I want to see Pumat Sol again.
Yeah.
I want to see Jester confront the gentleman. We still haven't gotten that yet.
Yes, that's a frustrating loose end that's been.
We got to figure out what's gonna happen with Ford.
Yep.
Is he gonna go? Is he gonna get into the Wild Mother's good graces fast enough to not get like murdered by the Uk'otoa?
I'm almost certain.
Oh my god!
I'm almost certain that he's there for the Wild Mother.
I know, but like, she said when she blocked Uk'otoa out the one night, that she can't do this often, or for very long.
Right.
So, like, the next time Uk'otoa comes a knockin', I feel like it's gonna be way worse than him just losing his powers.
Do you ever hear the phrase betting on the wrong horse? Except in this case, it's Ford's entire life.
Oh, yeah. And it's hilarious
and
because...
he betted on the wrong thing.
And it's hilarious because from what we know, from what Ford has conveyed to the group, usually warlocks strike a deal.
Right.
To get their power.
Right.
Or they work out some sort of relationship. It sounds like he literally just almost died and woke up on the beach just attached to Uk'otoa.
Right.
Which, if that's the case, like, that's like really non-consensual warlockism.
Yeah.
Which means he didn't bet on the wrong horse. The horse chose him.
Yeah.
Which is like a whole different thing. But there's a lot we don't know about Ford, I feel like, and it very well may be that when he was at the bottom of the ocean, he did make a deal, and he's just not telling anyone, which I'd be ashamed of.
Well, sure.
Like, I for sure get that.
At this point, yeah, okay, this guy's clearly, like, bad news bears.
Yeah. A part of me, like, at times when Ford gets punished, and this will be the very last thing I say, at times when Ford, hi Talia, gets punished, a part of me goes, what's the worst that could happen if you let him out? I'm like, so what if there's a big Leviathan in the ocean? He wasn't a god. He was literally just a big guardian monster. Like, who cares? Like, there's a Leviathan. At least
maybe we just don't find out what the worst case scenario is on that, though.
At least they would have safe passage if they tried to go across the ocean.
That's true.
So, like...
unless he decides to stop.
Yeah.
Favoring Ford.
That's a problem as well. But there's like a part of me is like, maybe it wouldn't be that bad. Maybe he should just let him out and then just be done with it. But
I don't know about that.
Yeah, but then I think about it and I'm like, it's probably way worse than I'm imagining. Is it
like, okay, be like releasing Cthulhu?
Yeah, and if he can strip someone's powers away while being contained.
Right.
Imagine what could happen when he's free.
Right.
So I guess, yeah, like, I always come back to that. I always circle back to that. All right, let's not be crazy. But I always have, like, what are you doing, Talia? Get out of here. The dog is, like, under the computer, causing all kinds of ruckus. Yeah, so...
Thanks for joining us for Pet Pals.
Pet Pals featuring Critical Role. Yeah, so... I'm really excited. I want to know what happens with Uk'otoa. I want to know what happens with Gentleman / Jester's dad / whatever he is. I want to know what happens with Dyron. I want to know everything right now. Matt Mercer, send me the script. All right.
Yeah, like there's a script.
Is there? No, there isn't. Conspiracy theorists. But that's gonna...
For sure, script.
That's going to do it for this episode of the Tales of Exandria podcast, episode number 1. For Critical Role news, episode breakdowns. I'm reading a list here because I have a really bad memory. Fan art and more episodes of this wonderful podcast. Head on over to talesofexandria.com. That is Tales, Tales, of You know how to spell of. Exandria, EXANDRIA.com. And follow us on Twitter for news about the giveaways, for fan art, our original stories, anything else we tweet out. Our Twitter handle again is Exandrian Tales, EXANDRIAN Tales. And as a closing note, for all your glorious needs, don't forget to shop. Where, Jamie?
At Gilmore's. Glorious Goods.
There you go. Bye, everyone.